Howdy y'all and welcome. Hope everybody's having a great start to the new year and is sticking to those New Year's resolutions. Now, before we get into the forecast, we do got a slight risk issued for Friday here from Louisiana all the way up into Tennessee. Now, we don't know what the main risks are going to be, but as we do take a look at the probabilistic outlook, we see there's pretty good odds of really all hazards possible, mainly high winds, tornadoes, and large hail. Now, we also have some severe weather here on Hump Day. Marginal risk here in Texas and Oklahoma. And we have a wide area of a marginal risk from Texas all the way up here into Illinois. Now today we do got a low end threat for large hail, no threat for tornadoes, and a low end threat for high winds, so mainly hail and high winds for today. Tomorrow on Thursday we have a low end chance for hail, low end chance for tornadoes, so please keep in mind that a significant tornado can still happen on low end days. Make sure you seek shelter appropriately tomorrow. And wind is also another threat to worry about. And of course we do have the day 3 risk for Friday, which is a slight risk here from Louisiana to Tennessee. So let's go ahead and get into that. And to take a look at the day 3 slight risk, we're going to take a look at the long range NAM. Now this is a new model that they did come up with here on Weatherbell, which is reflectivity model, which y'all are experimenting this with me. So let's go ahead and get into it here. As we push off into Friday, we can see that storms are going to start to initiate at, I would say, roughly 1 o'clock Eastern time, which would be roughly noon. And then we're definitely going to start to get organized as we head into the late evening, and especially during the early morning hours of Saturday before it starts turning into a big old squall line as it moves into Alabama. So I'm thinking that there could be a pretty good chance of seeing a tornado, especially at right around, I would say, 6 o'clock Central Time down here in Mississippi, northern Louisiana. If I had to chase this system, I would probably be here in western Mississippi, southeast Arkansas. This is where I would be at to chase this system. So you see there's going to be some supercells at right around that time. So I would say roughly, it's pretty wide time horizon, but I would say 1 o'clock through 7 o'clock. Central Time to be on the safe side. And you can see there's also going to be some significant snowfall up here in the upper Midwest and Great Lakes as we head into this weekend as well, which we'll get into that here in a little bit. But as far as the parameters go for the severe weather, we're actually going to have to take a look at the NAM 3 kilometer. And you can see this only goes out through Friday evening, which is perfect for us really. And as we take a look at the significant tornado parameters, push us forward and say 1 o'clock. We can see tornado parameters are starting to pick up a little bit. Nothing off the charts or anything, unless you live down here in eastern Louisiana. But as we head off into the late evening hours, the tornado parameters are going to start to pick up a little bit. Now, what does this mean? Well, it just means that the ingredients are favorable for tornadic activity. That don't mean that a tornado is going to happen within this whole entire zone. It just means it's pretty favorable for tornadic activity. And as we go back to the reflectivity, we can see there is definitely going to be some storms within that area. So definitely northern Louisiana, southeast Arkansas, western Mississippi, I would definitely be on guard for a pretty significant tornado risk on Friday. Now this can overperform. As we go back here and take a look at the temperatures, we could see the different kind of parameters we could be coming in on, which is like instability and wind shear, etc. But as we push us forward into Friday, we can see we're definitely going to be dealing with some very nice temperatures leading up into this weekend though, so definitely get out there and enjoy that. And as we head off into Friday evening, we're going to be in the right around the 70s down there, mid 70s in Louisiana, which is going to fuel those storms. And as we take a look at the severe weather parameters for this, surface cape, which is pretty much thunderstorm fuel, nothing off the charts or anything, but roughly at right around 2,000 joules per kilogram in Louisiana. So Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, like I said earlier, are definitely going to be the main target for severe weather on Friday. So definitely make sure you know where to go when that tornado warning goes off. A storm shelter, basement, closet, interior room away from windows is perfect. Just make sure you heed those warnings, as you always should, regardless of whether a tornado happens or not, because you never know. And of course, I will be keeping y'all updated on X and Facebook on this, of course. So definitely stay tuned and stay safe, because as you can see, it's already a day 3 slight risk, and this could also be upgraded into an enhanced risk or even a moderate risk, but I don't think it's going to be a high risk or anything. I don't think it's going to be a very significant event, but of course please treat this as a significant event in the yellow or even in the green zones as pretty significant severe that can still happen within the marginal risk. So now that I beat the dead horse on the severe weather, we do have some snowfall. It's going to be occurring here in the upper Midwest. So let's go ahead and cover that, and then we'll get into what we could expect for the next couple of weeks, which could include a pretty wild ride of severe weather, snowstorms, and even an atmospheric river out west. So to take a look at the snowstorm up there in the upper Great Lakes Midwest, let's go ahead and take a look at the simulated radar here. And as we push this forward, we can see going to be doing some pretty significant snowfall here in Iowa and parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and even up here in the UP of Michigan, while the deep south, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas are going to be dealing with some severe weather, and it's looking like we could be coming in on back-to-back snowstorms up here in the upper Midwest and upper Great Lakes regions, as well as some icing up here by Canada and near Buffalo. So going to be dealing with some pretty significant winter weather here in the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast, while the Ohio Valley is going to be coming in on some pretty significant flooding. And as we take a look at the snow totals all the way through, let's say through Sunday, right? 1 o'clock could be coming in on roughly 2 to 4 inches up here in Wisconsin. Locally higher amounts possible, of course. The UP of Michigan is going to be coming in on the jackpot through Sunday. Roughly, I would say 3 to 6 inches. Some areas coming in on almost a foot of snowfall. Up here by Maine, roughly 1 to 2 inches. Of course, the dusting surrounding that. And near an inch here in Iowa, which y'all could be coming in on some icing over there. And as far as the icing goes, we can see that we're going to be coming in on some pretty significant icing here near Iowa, Minnesota, parts of Wisconsin, which is going to be cutting down on the snow totals. But it's less than 1/10 of an inch. Nothing really to be worried about, but of course ice is something you don't want to mess around with. So definitely be aware of the ice and be aware of the snowfall through Sunday. And I did show y'all that there is going to be a lot of heavy precipitation here in the Ohio Valley and down here in the Mid-South. So there's definitely going to be a lot of precipitation between now and Sunday, roughly almost 2 to 4 inches from Louisiana all the way up here into West Virginia. So definitely be aware of flooded roadways. Turn around, don't drown. And of course, if you live in a low-lying area, please be aware of this. And as you can see, they have already issued a slight risk within that 2 to 4 inch zones. It could be upgraded on Friday as well. So Friday is going to be a pretty intense day for severe weather and flooding and even snowstorms up here in the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. So definitely be aware of that. So now that I covered what we could expect leading up into this weekend, go ahead and get into what we could expect as we head past this weekend. As we can see today, of course, we're going to be dealing with some pretty significant snowfall here up by Idaho and Montana, and looking to be another atmospheric river up here in the Pacific Northwest. Of course, we do have that severe weather threat here in Texas and Oklahoma, which is mainly just a high wind and hail threat. Really all you got to worry about, but there could also be a tornado or two as well, so definitely be on guard for that. Also could be some significant snowfall here in the Rockies. Could lead to some significant snowpack up there, which is good for the ski resorts up there. Could be some snowfall in Arizona and New Mexico as well, so definitely a sight for sore eyes if you live down there in the Southwest. Y'all ain't really too used to this, but it can happen from time to time, of course. And of course, as we head into Friday, we got that severe weather threat in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas, and a flooding threat which extends all the way from Louisiana up into West Virginia, and which also affects the Ohio Valley as well, with a pretty significant winter storm here in the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, with an ice storm potential as well up here in New Hampshire, Vermont, and up here by Maine, and could result in some very significant snow totals up here in Michigan and Wisconsin. Could lead to upwards of right around 3 to 6 inches. Some areas a little less, some areas a little more, but definitely be aware of that if you live up there. And I would definitely appreciate some snowfall pictures. If you want to send any my way, send it over my X and Facebook pages. I would greatly appreciate that. And of course, do so safely. If you got to travel or anything, make sure you just use your common sense. You don't have to head out great. But if you do, then please use your common sense. And once that system moves out, looks like there could be some lake effect snow up here in the northeast, some pesky rain and snow showers here in the northwest. But overall, it's looking like to start off next week, it's looking to be relatively quiet and unusually quiet at that after coming in on such an active weather pattern to wrap up the weekend. But don't get fooled though, because Mother Nature could be shaping us up for another active weather pattern as we head into the sort of the middle and end of the month. As you can see, could be coming in on some pretty heavy rainfall and some heavy snowfall here along the mid-Atlantic region. Could be dealing with what's called a quote-unquote nor'easter. Please don't quote me on that, but there could be a potential nor'easter as we head into next weekend. Now, this is pretty far out right around 200 some hours out. Definitely take this with a grain of salt. It might not happen at all, but if it does, could be leading to some significant snowfall here in the Northeast, as well as some icing down here near Massachusetts, Delaware, Rhode Island, and those areas over there. And also some significant snowfall here in the northern and central plains. But overall, the rest of the country is looking to be pretty dry to start off and end next week, if we stick to the GFS anyway. And it's looking like we could be coming in on another quiet weather pattern as we head into right around the 18th time frame. And of course, Mother Nature's going to be shaping us up for another active weather pattern as we head into the end of the month with a pretty significant snowstorm here from the central plains all the way into the Ohio Valley as we head into the 21st time frame. Now, of course, 300 and some hours out, this will probably not even happen in the first place. So definitely take this with a grain of salt. Really, anything over 100 hours out, it's virtually impossible to forecast. So this could happen, but also might not happen in the first place. And you can see there's another atmospheric river occurring here in the Pacific Northwest. And of course, further way out, the more uncertainty there is, but we can see even more snowfall occurring in the Pacific Northwest. Now, before we take a look at the 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 day outlooks, as well as the snowfall for the next couple of weeks and precipitation, let's go ahead and actually take a look at the key wording by the Climate Prediction Center. It's looking like a major pattern change is going to be occurring out there in the West Coast, as y'all could be getting a break from this atmospheric river, which led to above normal precipitation and flooding across California and the Pacific Northwest through mid to late December. From the 18th through the 31st, which averaged more than 200% of normal precipitation throughout California, with southern parts of the state receiving more than 4 times their normal amount of precipitation during the 2-week time frame. As you can see, the 14-day percent of normal precipitation, y'all got hammered out there in California and the Pacific Northwest through that time frame, and it's looking like there could be a ridge setting up from the 14th through 20th, which could result in some very dry conditions out there, and y'all could be drying out and getting some relief finally, although we could be coming in on maybe 1 or 2 more atmospheric rivers as we head towards the end of the month, but really I don't think those would be playing too much of a role anyway. But you can see a strong mid-level ridge favors a much drier pattern for the West Coast, and the week 2 outlook indicates 40 to 60% chance of below normal precipitation for much of California, the Great Basin, and the Pacific Northwest. So pretty much all this is saying is we could be dealing with a very dry middle and end of the month out there in the West Coast after coming in on such a very wet and snowy end to December. So definitely going to be getting a relief out there from this atmospheric river. And you can see down here, could be some Santa Ana winds as well down there. So definitely be aware of that too. And as we take a look back at the precipitation map, we can see, of course, could be dealing with some more sogginess. But as we head into the 14th, we're definitely getting a break out there as far as precipitation goes anyway, although we could be coming in on another atmospheric river as we head towards the end of the month. So now let's go ahead and take a look at who will get in on the jackpot of snow. It's looking like, of course, the Mountain West. Y'all always get in on the jackpot out there. Upper Midwest, Upper Great Lakes, Northeast, y'all are also going to be coming in on the jackpot, mainly up here in the UP of Michigan, where majority of the snowfall is going to be occurring at for the next couple of weeks. I'll zoom in here so y'all can take a look at how much snowfall will occur in your area, and send me any snowfall pictures if you want to as well. I would greatly appreciate that. And here is the western part of the country where, of course, any sort of snowfall is good for those ski resorts out there, if you have any. As far as precipitation goes, it's looking like from Louisiana up here into West Virginia, y'all could be coming in on the jackpot of rainfall because you're going to be coming in on severe weather and flooding as we head into this weekend. But after this weekend, it's looking to start to dry out though, so some good news. And it's also looking like the Pacific Northwest is going to be coming in on a lot of precipitation, but this is mainly going to be from now into this weekend, and I think it's going to start to dry out as we head into the 14th through 20th time frame. And keep in mind, some of this precipitation is mainly snowfall, especially up here in the UP of Michigan, so definitely be aware of that as well. And as we take a look at the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, we can see well below average precipitation is going to be expected out here on the West Coast and Rockies. Good news out there after y'all came in on such a soggy end to December with those atmospheric rivers. Going to dry out here out east after coming in on what could be a very soggy weather pattern as we head into this weekend. I guess that's some good news. If you have any plans out there for the next couple of weeks, go ahead and get it done. Looks like it could be pretty dry out there, especially if you haven't taken down those Christmas lights yet. be a good time to do so. We above average here in Florida, southern Texas, and the northern plains. Next 8 to 14 days, looks much of the same story really. Could be a pretty quiet weather pattern as we head towards the end of the month, although I think we could be coming in on what could be a nor'easter. Could be wrong though, so definitely take that with a grain of salt. Or we could be dealing with another snowstorm here in the Ohio Valley, but of course that's very far out as well. Can and will change, but we stick to the climate prediction center here. It's looking like the west coast and eastern part of the country could be very dry unless you live down here in southern Florida, southwest Texas, and the northern plains and upper Great Lakes as well. So before we get into the temperatures, we take a look at the risk of heavy snowfall. We got a slight risk here in Buffalo and Lake Erie, New York, which is pretty typical. So definitely be aware of some heavy snowfall from the 18th through the 20th if you live in that region. Go ahead and get into the temperatures here. We can see today gonna be really warm out there for much of us here in the eastern part of the country. Gonna be feeling like the 70s almost up here by Nebraska and parts of South Dakota. And this is gonna persist as we head into this weekend, although we could be coming in on a cold front as we inch closer to Friday. And that's why they issued the slight risk for Friday, because we got that warm air coming up from the Gulf and the cold air coming down from Canada. And of course, we're gonna have that severe weather in Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas. Lots of flooding from Louisiana up into West Virginia, and a significant snowstorm here in the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and parts of the Northeast. It's going to be really chilly out there in the Rockies though too. And as we head into this weekend, we can see where that cold front's at. It's going to be knocking those warm temperatures out, and here comes old man winter with that bitterly cold air. And it's looking to stick around for a while as well, unless you live here in the central and southern plains really. And it's just looking like we could be just dealing with those frigid temperatures as we head into the 20th time frame. And really it's looking like we could be dealing with some negative temperatures from the 15th through the 20th time frame, as we could be coming in on another potential, keyword there is potential, snowstorm as we head towards the end of the month. As we take a look at the last GFS run here, you can see could be dealing with a potential, keyword there is potential, winter storm. We head into the end of this month, and if we take a look at the latest run here, we can see it's not even there. So that's why I keep saying that please take this with a grain of salt, because it might not happen in the first place, because one model run will show this 300 hours out and then the next one won't even show it at all. So definitely again, take this with a grain of salt. It might not happen in the first place. I kind of hope it happens, because I'm kind of hoping for another big winter storm so I can get good coverage for y'all, but it's not looking good. So just fingers crossed pretty much for a big winter storm here in the Ohio Valley. So now that I covered that, what's the temperatures looking like for the next 6 to 10 days? Well, it's looking to be above average for much of us, unless you live down here in Florida and parts of southern Texas. Next 8 to 14 days could be still remaining in that pattern, although I think we could be coming in on some bitterly cold air here. So we head towards the middle and end of the month. And really after this weekend, I think it's really going to start getting cold out and staying cold, which according to the Climate Prediction Center, they're showing us that it's going to be right around near normal temperatures, although it's going to be really, really cold. So definitely don't get used to these nice warm temperatures leading up to this weekend, because it's going to be getting bitterly cold out here very, very soon. So before I let y'all go and end this video with the summary, I'm going to take a look at the auroras, as I have been seeing the sun pick up in activity, which could mean some auroras. We can see today or early tonight, not much activity at all, but as we head into tomorrow night, which is on Thursday, could be dealing with some significant auroras up here in Canada and parts of the northern U.S. Parts of the northern U.S. could see some auroras, so definitely get out there and spot those. And if you get any auroras, send them over my way. I would greatly appreciate that as well. So to wrap this up, basically what I would expect for the next couple of weeks is basically, I think once we head into this weekend, we could be dealing with an active weather pattern, which could result in severe weather from Louisiana up into Tennessee, mainly down here in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas though. So definitely be hyper weather aware. It's already a slight risk issued, but could be upgraded or even downgraded. You never know, but please make sure you don't let your guard down. Significant severe weather can still happen on low wind days, and I'm thinking there could be a pretty significant severe weather threat on Friday, as well as some significant flooding, which could occur from Louisiana up into West Virginia. And there could also be a pretty significant snowstorm on the backside, which could result in roughly 2 to 4 inches on average, with locally higher amounts possible up here in the UP. So definitely be aware of that as we head into this weekend. The rest of the country is looking to be pretty dry though, and we could be getting a break from that atmospheric river here in the Pacific Northwest all the way from the 14th through the 20th time frame. And this could result in some bitterly cold air to start off the week, but looking to be very, very quiet out there, and unusually quiet as we head into next week. But don't let this fool you though. We could be coming in on what could be a quote-unquote nor'easter here as we head into the end of next week. This might not happen in the first place, so please take this with a grain of salt. But if it does, then could be some significant problems here in the Northeast. Could be dumping quite a bit of snow and ice here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic regions. Be quiet once again. That's why the Climate Prediction Center showed us that we could be heading into a drying trend as we head into the middle and end of the month. Pretty spot on with that here. And of course, further we have, the more uncertainty there is, and there could be another significant, quote unquote, significant snowstorm as we head into the end of the month, which I hope this happens, but might not happen in the first, because as we take a look at the latest run here, we can see it's not there at all. So definitely take that with a grain of salt. And as far as who will see the most snow, well, as we zoom into the eastern part of the country, we can see the upper Midwest, upper Great Lakes, Northeast, typical spots for the snow. Jackpot of snow is going to be up here in the UP of Michigan, though, roughly 36 inches with a foot possible in some areas. Out west, really nothing new out there. The Rockies coming in on a lot of snowfall, which is good for the ski resorts. As we take a look at the precipitation, the Pacific Northwest is going to be coming in on a lot of precipitation. Could be coming in on maybe one more atmospheric river before y'all are going to be finally done with that and drying out. We head towards the end of the month, but we can see from Louisiana up here into West Virginia, y'all are coming in on the jackpot. This is mainly going to be occurring as we head into this weekend, roughly 2 to 4 inches. Of course, locally higher amounts possible within this area here, so definitely be aware of flooding. If you live in a low-lying area, please be aware of this. And of course, please turn around and do not drown if you encounter a flooded roadway. And for kicks and giggles, here is the West Coast, which is going to be finally drying out after coming in on significant atmospheric rivers last month. And as far as temperatures go, well, it's looking to be warm leading up into this weekend here in the central and eastern part of the country, but don't get used to it though. And if you live in the central and eastern part of the country, it'd be a good time to take down those Christmas lights if you haven't done so already, because it's looking like as we head out of the weekend, it's looking like we could be coming back into those bitterly cold temperatures once again. Hope that winter is going to be coming back as we head into the middle and end of the month. Although we could be coming in on 1 or 2 more warm days here in the central and southern plains, but overall I think as we head towards the end of the month, I think we're going to be really bitterly cold out there, and could be coming in on some negative temperatures as we head towards the end of the month, when that potential snowstorm could occur here in the Ohio Valley, which I kind of hope it happens. Fingers crossed it does, because I'm kind of hoping for one more major winter storm here in the Ohio Valley. And I know the playoffs are occurring this weekend, and my Pittsburgh Steelers are actually in the playoffs, so we push us back to Monday night at roughly, let's say, 7 o'clock. Could be in the mid-30s out there, and looking to be pretty dry as well, but of course this can change too, so keep that in mind. And of course, Raw will be on at that time, and I'll also have a forecast for that as well. So, I hope y'all got a lot out of this video. If you did, please make sure you hit that like and share buttons so more folks are informed about the weather, and also leave me some feedback in the comment section down below, as any feedback helps provide you, the viewer, better and more informative content in the future. If you want to see anything on the channel that I missed, make sure you let me know as well. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. We are very close to 500 subscribers. One more and we'll get there, as at Hero News Weather, we try to make weather forecasting fun and informative. So again, enjoy the warm air while it lasts, because it's not going to last that long, because as we head into next week and probably the end of the month, it's looking to be very cold out there, and Old Man Winter is going to be making a return. So again, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all of y'all for watching, and until next time, never stop forecasting.